Breaking news, everyone. Grandpa's messing with the thermostat again, but this time it's called the global economy because we got Trump back on his bullshit, slapping tariffs on everything like Oprah is giving away cars. Like, you get a tariff, and you get a tariff, and you get a tariff. So today, I guess Ian and I, we're just going to quickly break down how these tariffs are supposed to help American workers. And by that, we mean piss off farmers, raise prices, and probably start a trade war too. So let's dive into this flaming dumpster of an economic policy wrapped in a red hat and see what the fuck's going on. The stock market tanked, what, 16,
Yeah, I think we
1,500
got the
points?
Dow down 1,600 points, S&P down almost 275, Nasdaq down 1,000 points, almost 6% on Nasdaq. The tech sector got hit hard.
Yeah. So what do you got to say to people that, because I don't know about you, but my feed in the past couple hours on Twitter has become very predominantly a bunch of no-name accounts all talking about how great tariffs are. And basically the theme is all these guys on Wall Street fucked us over for years, and now we are, the American workers not going to have to compete with, uh, you know, uh, kid labor and people working for $1.20 a day. So what do you got to say to that, Ian?
So I have experienced the same thing on Twitter, mostly in the reply section to various tweets. Look, I part of the reason that companies leave the United States is low wages. That's definitely a big part of it. An understated part of it is deregulation. They can just go to these countries and pollute and get away with whatever it might be. I don't disagree with that at all. Some of the human rights issues in these countries are problematic. We know this. That doesn't change the fact that this is just not the way that you go about this process, especially now. If you wanted to do a series of stepped up targeted tariffs on particular parts of particular sectors and certain industries to start bringing manufacturing back, if that's your stated goal. Again, I'm not sure we actually have a stated goal here from the Trump administration for what they want. Is this a revenue driver? Are we bringing back manufacturing here? There's a whole host of problems that people don't really talk about when it comes to bringing manufacturing back to the United States. People talk about it, but a lot of these accounts seem to kind of ignore it. There are certain sectors that just do not exist in the United States anymore. Certain things that we purchase that used to be here that just aren't here anymore. And personally, in my business, a lot of pigmentation used to be manufactured in the United States, and it's just not anymore. That's not here. There's not factories and workers and equipment out there just waiting for this manufacturing to come back here so we can ramp up. Like, that just isn't happening. So it and that goes with basically every sector. So you look at automobiles, you look at anything that combines a series of manufactured parts. You're talking about taking that microcosm or that one particular sector that might not be done here, and your entire supply chain is now going to be responsible for finding people to manufacture, finding facilities to do the manufacturing, and finding the equipment, all while, yeah, your labor prices go up here. There's just no doubt about it. The average American just can't afford that right now. We're not going to be able to afford it. And even if, even if you were able to accomplish that to some degree, because everything becomes so expensive, economic activity is going to stagnate because people can't afford it otherwise. So that in and of itself could possibly lead you to a recession, just the stagnation of the economy. So there's just so many elements to this that people ignore. And I've responded to comments on it before. The thought process is, well, there's going to be a little bit of pain right now, but it'll be worth it in the end. just ignores the fact that many Americans just cannot withstand that pain. It's not pain to them. This is life altering, maybe decades of personal finance decisions that they're making. Look at people who might be retiring in the next year or two, watching their 401k basically evaporate before their eyes. People that are already, look at our consumer debt figures. They're already extremely high, and making things more expensive is just going to make that blow up. I mean, if your stated goal again is that we want to manufacture more in the United States, we want to get better at building shit here, great. I think I can say that I would be on board with that. This is not how you do it.
Well, I want to take people back because, a lot of the people that we're trying to target with this podcast probably won't remember 2016, but we actually had a great way to do combat everything that you were just talking about, and it was called the TPP.
Yeah,
That
good
type
point.
of legislation where we went to all these countries that are doing the manufacturing, Vietnam,
Hmm.
Japan, all of them, and said, hey, let's make a deal and have a framework for what we think is a fair playing field, right? Like, we all love free trade,
Yeah,
but let's set some ground rules and not having child labor. And how do we prevent that?
yep,
Or how do we make sure that we have standard wages, right? Like, I am not in favor of trying to compete with child labor. I'm not in favor of trying to compete with $1.20 a day. I don't think that's fair. I
no,
think that people should be paid living wages. I don't think kids need to be working, in sweat factories. So I understand the why people are upset about those things,
yeah,
right? I get that. Um, However, doing it this way, using everything, the tariffs is basically a sledgehammer to just take it to everything here. It's not going to work. Um, I mean, I'm not a wealthy person, but I've been investing in my 401k for years. And I happened to take a peek at it today, and I'm not happy about it.
no,
Yeah. Uh, like it or not, the stock market, as much as we rail against, Wall Street, the stock market does have a place in our
yes,
economy.
yeah. The stock
And
market is not the economy, but it is definitely a piece.
right. And it serves the function, right? And if we don't want people living off of Social Security, and we want people investing in companies, you can choose to just invest American companies on the stock market, right? Like, I mean, that are
Yeah,
doing primarily just American things. Like, that's your prerogative, right?
yep,
Like, if that's really what your goal is to boost American companies. I mean, one of your favorite auto manufacturers, Rivian, right? I
yep,
mean, invest in stuff like that.
yep,
But coming in and just absolutely hammering everything, the world economy, pissing off our neighbors, pissing off our allies, it's going to be a matter of national security too. I was just reading an article right before we came on about how that our
mhm,
artillery shells, some of the materials that we are going to need for those, we have to outsource.
yeah,
And let's talk about, like, they put fucking tariffs on an island that has no inhabitants, and it's basically like a bunch of penguins that live there, right? Like, uh,
yeah,
and the reason why, and people have shown that if you go on Chat GPT and ask, how do you level a playing field right now, with tariffs,
yeah,
it will do exactly what the Trump administration did. It
right,
will tell you exactly, right? And part of the reason why that island is on there, and there's also an island that we only have an American base on there, so we're putting tariffs on our own self. I mean,
yeah,
it's so sloppy and so lazy. They literally just went on Chat GPT and asked it a question, and then the formula that they used, they tried to say, oh, well, it has this, we divided this by this and times it by this, but the thing they were dividing by was equaled out by what they were timesing it by, right?
yeah,
So
I mean, it's yeah.
Everything that they did is lazy and sloppy, and it just goes to show I mean, it's just up and down the Trump administration. It goes into RFK saying today that 20% of the layoffs they just did in the Department of Health and Human Services
Yep.
were mistakes.
They got to bring him back now.
Yeah, and it's like I've had to fire one person in my career, and it was like so much paperwork and all that, right? And like I had to have write up and justified, and I felt so horrible doing it, even though the person absolutely deserved to do it.
Yep.
Like, and so like I don't even understand how any person with any morals thinks that that is okay. But that's just what is happening in this administration
Like
because
the
they're
third or
lazy,
fourth
they're
time that's
incompetent.
happened.
What's that?
That's like the third or fourth time that's happened.
Yeah, like the move fast and break things. Why?
That's
What's the fucking rush,
right.
right?
We've talked about it. Elon Musk made that comment. We got to act quickly. Why?
There's literally zero reason for this.
No.
Um, and like I said, man, I understand being mad at Wall Street, and I understand, like I've spoken many times on this show about my hometown
Mhm.
being affected, the textile mills that my
Yep.
grandparents grew up in. But then again, thinking about it, it sucks that my hometown wasn't like able to have the vision to figure out how to pivot away from
Yeah.
doing something other than textiles. But also, I know the stories that my grandpa told me growing up. Both my grandfathers worked in the textile mills,
Yep.
and it was not a great environment,
No.
right? Like,
No.
and one of the summer jobs I had when I was 18, right after college or right after high school, my dad wanted me to get a job to know what it was like to not have a college degree. So he got me a job at this textile mill in Emporia, Virginia. And I can absolutely tell you there was no air conditioning in there.
Mhm.
There are these machines spinning at high volumes. In the time I was there, I saw injury after injury after injury, and that's with modern equipment, right?
Yeah.
Like, uh, it's not an environment that I wanted to work in, and it's not like these people were working a wage that was great. We essentially took those types of jobs and shipped them overseas, yes, but then in response to that, we also got jobs that are like my current one where I sit in an office and we do service work, right?
Yep.
And we get better wages for doing it.
And same here.
Um, so it's yes, there are economies that got left behind, but also we have to look that I mean, the textile industry was not taking out by NAFTA.
No.
The textile industry was in decline since the 70s.
Yeah.
So, I saw a lot of tweets today about how NAFTA did this and NAFTA did that. But go look at the stats since 1970, and hopefully you can put this in afterwards. But since like 1970, the decline of manufacturing went in a straight line down,
Yep.
and you can't tell where NAFTA was passed.
No.
So, you know, I understand the need to blame that, but it's just not a reality.
No.
So these tariffs, they fucking suck.
Yeah.
I'm worried to death. My
Yeah.
job depends, my day job, because we don't make anybody doing this. My day job depends on the housing industry,
Mhm.
and these tariffs, even the MAGA YIMBY account agreed today that these tariffs are going to raise the cost of housing by at least 10%.
Yeah.
That means that there will be less houses sold.
Yep.
And that means that my job could be in jeopardy.
Yep.
The last time the last time we had a recession, I was working for this company and I got laid off. It scares the hell out of me that that's going to happen again.
Yeah.
And I just hope that this train turns around, that this is a week or two long thing, and then they figure out that this is just really just too much pain, and they backtrack and they say Trump, did 4D chess and did all these master deals, and we all are able to go about our business. But I think we've really stepped in it here,
Yeah.
and I'm scared to death, man.
Yeah. I want to, make sure we point out one thing. So the charts that Trump held up at his fucking garden party for Liberation Day. um, there's two sections. There's the discounted, what he says is discounted reciprocal tariffs, and then the tariffs charged to the U.S. And then in a very small type, it says including currency manipulation and other trade barriers. So what stuck out to me first is Vietnam. So we went up to a 46% tariff on Vietnam. Okay. I export product from the United States to Vietnam probably between 8 and 10 times a month. I know that they are not paying 90% tariffs. Like, I know that for a fact because, I do it. So I went and looked and did some calculations and everything. It is 5%. And this is just in my industry. I'm not saying there aren't other industries that are maybe a little bit higher, but it does not even approach 90%.
But even last night, though, Ian, after these were announced, Vietnam dropped all tariffs on the United States.
Mhm.
And we still have put this in. And here's the strategy. Like, I don't understand the strategy, because if our goal is to get away from China, then why penalize and go after Taiwan? Because that, and why penalize and go after Vietnam? I mean, these are the countries that you want to be doing the industry in. That's not going to China. So I just don't understand the strategy. They haven't said the strategy. I think it was Eric Trump last night was talking about, you don't want to be the last country in line to make a deal with us, but they have specifically said over and over that these are not a negotiation tactic.
The White House has said that.
So what the fuck are they? Like,
we don't know.
And here's the other thing I want to point out. Argentina used to have one of the strongest economies in the world. And then Perón came in, I think it was Perón, came in and ended up, tried to make everything in Argentina. And we see how well that fucking worked out for him.
Disaster.
Look at Russia. Russia did the same fucking thing. And how well has that worked out for him? And I would just add this. I really fucking love drinking coffee. I'm sure that like 90% of America does too. Where the fuck are we going to grow our fucking, all the coffee that we need now?
No, we can't. I mean, coffee.
Where are we going to grow bananas?
Yeah.
Where are we going to grow that shit?
Environmentally, very difficult to grow. It's hard on the environment. There's a lot of things that go into it, and we just can't do that shit here. And we saw even before fucking Liberation Day, China and South Korea and Japan getting together. I mean, literally geopolitical enemies and some of our allies getting together saying they're going to respond as a collective against it. We are pushing every ally that we have into the arms of our enemies at seemingly every turn. And for what? Like, for what?
You want to know one of the things that pisses me off the most about this whole damn thing, Ian? I now have to agree with Ron Paul and fucking Ted Cruz.
Oh, Jesus. I saw Ted. Oh, man. You've
In
lost
what
Ted
fucking
Cruz,
world
Donald.
am I taking their side against Trump? Like,
you have lost Ted Cruz, Donald Trump. My God.
But that's where we're at right now, man. Hopefully, this is what I want to see. Everybody that's watching this video right now, I want you to call Congress, call your representatives. Ian can plop the number in here because I don't know it by heart. But please call the number. Call every representative that you can. Blow up the fucking phones and tell them they can end this right now. Because the ability that Trump has to be able to put these tariffs into effect, he's only supposed to have the ability to do reciprocal tariffs. And Congress gave them that ability. So Congress can take that away and make these tariffs go away real quick. So we need to do what we can by blowing up their fucking phones, make it where that they can't get any other business done. Call, email after email. Right.
Look, people, you think maybe that doesn't have any effect, but I can tell you one thing, it 100% does. If you start to see or not start, if you continue to see the economy going into the tank, if you continue to make those calls while that's happening, if this happens, they will, and you need to make this clear when you call them, they still need a job after Donald Trump is done and gone. So they have a responsibility to you, their constituents, whether you voted for them or not, to do the right thing. And like Adam said, they have the ability to take this away. It's going to take a veto-proof majority to get it done, but they do have the ability to take this away. We need a lot of help, but it can happen. It can definitely happen.
If you blow up the phones enough, they pay attention.
Yes.
I've talked with Tom Tillis's aide enough to know that they do pay attention to all that shit.
Yep.
And Tom Tillis is up for re-election next year. And if he wants to even have a shot at doing anything, I mean, he's even saying today, well, I think we need to maybe not take Trump's power away, but we need to look at this tariff thing because, we need to take our Article 1 power back. Well, you need to do it right fucking now, Tom.
Yeah.
Like, you do need to take Trump's power away because we are going into the ditch fast as hell, and we need to get back in between the yellow and the yellow and the white. I'm just so mad I can't even think right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I didn't think that I would be as mad as I am, and maybe it's the degree to which he did the tariffs that I wasn't sort of expecting, but he told us he was going to do this. He told us over and over during the whole campaign that he was going to do this. This was his thing. He told us this is what he was going to do and when he was going to do it. And, he wavered a little bit and floundered, but he did exactly what he said he was going to do.
He even had a whole bit where he's like, China, we're gonna make it up a little higher. We're gonna go higher. And like the crowd was all into it. Like, how the fuck did you not think that this was gonna happen? Like, you voted for this and now we're eating shit because of it.
And we've pivoted away from the other country pays the tariff. I guess everybody figured out that wasn't fucking the case. And now we've pivoted to, well, it's actually good for, I've seen like some MAGA influencers like, well, you don't need to buy those items anymore. Just stop buying stuff. Or, you shouldn't drink coffee anyway. You should drink water and electrolytes. And man.
the degrowthers have now, that's red coded now.
It really is.
And my final point will be this.
Yeah.
It's a quick little history lesson. So, everybody knows about the Great Depression. And one of the things that started the Great Depression was the Smoot-Hawley tariffs that were instituted. And the tariffs that Trump put into effect yesterday, accounting for all different factors, are way higher than what they ever put in at that time.
Yeah.
That should scare the ever-living fuck out of everybody.
Yep.
Because whether you think that these tariffs are going to affect you or not, they absolutely are.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything is going to be higher. Cars are going to be more expensive. Nintendos are going to be more expensive. Your iPhone's going to be more expensive. Your iPads are going to be more expensive. Literally everything is going to be more expensive. Anything made in China is going to now be 54% more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how that's fucking good for anybody.
Yep. And
I'll just leave it with that.
I've made this point, and this will be my last one as well, but I've made this point before. An understated and underrated aspect of tariffs is even stuff that is not subject to tariffs will go up too. That's just what happens because it becomes a climate of price increases, and everyone will do it. I don't care if it's made in America or made in China.
Mark Cuban pointed that out exactly this morning in a tweet.
Yep.
That companies are going to raise prices because other companies are going up in prices and they're going to be able to make more money.
Yep.
So everything's going to be more expensive. Thanks, Trump.
Yeah,
go fuck yourself, bud.
Asshole.
I think that just is. We haven't done one in a minute. I'm calling it now. Jackass of the week. Fuck him.
I just call him Jackass of the Year at this point.
All right, y'all. Thanks for kicking around with us. If you like this, like, share, subscribe. We need all your support.
Yeah.
We love all y'all.
We got to fight this.
We're out of here.
Later.